you son of a bitch. You piece of shit. You fucking goddamn fucker. Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line. Get that through your goddamn fucking head. Stop pushing your shit.
Hey guys, this is the only one here to talk to you guys about Attack on Titan chapter 116. I would say this was probably a very brief chapter. There wasn't too much going on. We got like one or two bits of information that was kind of important, but mostly it was just a setup chapter that's basically setting up for the more exciting chapter that's going to happen hopefully next week. And the reason why I say hopefully is unless we switch off to some other thing that's going on somewhere else. And I hope to God not, because it's getting really exciting. We'll see how that fighting goes. So we start off with Peak and Eren, right back where we left off last chapter. And she's like, don't move, don't do anything, otherwise I'm gonna blow your brains out. Eren just doesn't believe in it. He's just like, look, you haven't blown my brain out already, why haven't you done that? And even if you had in your head that you'd want to, take the power of the Titan, it just would not work. It'd be really impractical and not an easy thing that you could do. So Pig finally lets up and she's like, okay, fine, yeah, I'm not gonna, shoot your brains out. And before we continue from that, we actually end up switching right back to, or we switch back to Armin's group. And they are asking Armin and Mikasa, what happened with Eren, with the fight and stuff, or, who hit who and whatever. Mikasa didn't want to talk about it. I think she's still in deep thought. I think that's what's going on. She's just thinking about what's going on, what happened, or she's just still processing all of that. She was obviously hurt from what Eren said. We saw her, tearing up. And what we also end up seeing is that Connie is still being stubborn like a brick. And ironically, we see John being the voice of reason. He's saying, look, I don't think he would be doing this unless, he's doing all this stuff, unless he's totally lost his mind. And I think there is a hint given here, because he says, assuming he's still sane, he wouldn't do something like that without any reason. His intentions are somewhere in there in what he's doing. And obviously everybody was already speculating from the moment we saw Eren and all the things that he was doing that there was something more to it than just what we're seeing or what we're reading. And I think this is just another hint or confirmation of that, of what's to come, and that is Eren is just not gonna go with that euthanasia plan. So then we get Yelena's group. She arrives in her group, and a time is given for when they can be released, which is when the Jaeger brothers will get in contact. But I think that's going to be bound to change considering what happened outside. Well, what we learn of what's happening outside later in the chapter, and I'll get more into that later as once we get to that part. Now, this kind of surprised me, but we had one of the Yelena group members start talking crap about Potato Girl, about Sasha, our beloved, and oh man, I was just like, reading this, and I was like, oh, please somebody hit him, please punch him. And Yelena went above and beyond and just took that gun straight to his head and shot him dead. And like, damn, okay, Yelena, alright, she ain't having none of that disrespect. Respect to you, Yelena. Yeah, she ain't gonna take that. Now, after that happens, we actually get a confirmation that I asked about, or I was wondering about, in the last chapter review. And that is whether Yelena's group actually knows what's going on in Zeke's head or in Eren's head, and that is the plan, the euthanasia plan, whether they actually knew about this or whether they were just following blindly, or Zeke made up some other plan that he was telling them. And it turns out, surprisingly, they actually do know, the real plan. They know all about the euthanasia plan, and they're apparently all down for it, which I don't know. I didn't expect that many people to be down for it, but that's kind of understandable coming from the screwed up background that they're from. So we get back to Eren and Peak, and honestly, Peak kind of confused me out through this chapter. And this might be because she is such a deceptionist, like she is so good at that. She starts off by saying, why would you make the whole world your enemy if you did not have a chance, right? And, she even, while Gappy's saying, oh, you're a traitor and whatever, she even goes up to her and she says, the fact that they're still Eldians will never change, and they have to claim, their own, their own rights with their own powers, the power that they have. And the reason why I'm saying this confuses me is because, I'm not sure why, but she decided to stick with Marley even after that attack, even after, as far as she knows, I don't know. I'm very sure she doesn't think of the Eldians, as far as I understand, as devils from her speech. But she seems to be sticking with Marley for no reason, and I'm trying to figure out what that reason is. Why the hell would you stick with people, who oppress you? And my only answer to that, which is not really a good answer, is, just because she has comrades there, she has people there, and she's just more familiar with them, so she's gonna stick with that. And this is kind of an off-topic thing, but this is one of the things that brands like to do when it comes to advertising, is that they want to get the brand familiar with you. So when you're out in the store and you try and buy something, you'll see the brand and you're more familiar with it, you're more likely to buy it, because you already know what it's about and whatnot. And I think that's my only answer for that. Now, my good old boy Aaron here doesn't buy none of her BS. Really good of him to be skeptical. I honestly would be skeptical. Just coming in there, barging in there, killing one of my scouts, and then pointing the gun at me. Of course I'd be skeptical, and it's really good of him that he was that skeptical. Now, we switch back to Armin, and Yelena is apparently explaining the plan to them of why they're actually there. It's not just so that, they can take revenge and whatnot. And Armin kind of confused me too. I mean, he started crying all of a sudden, thinking they're noble, their intentions are noble. I guess their intentions are noble, I will agree to that, but the plan is horrendous. And, you see Gene right there, he's kind of questioning the plan. We don't get too much about it, but, they kind of have, like, they I'm surprised, but they even have, like, the end planned out, like, with, the older people, of how they're going to keep the Titan up there with just passing it on through the generations. My only question about that, or the only problem that I see with that, is, if the Founder Titan is under control of a person who has the royal blood, doesn't the original Founder Titans, he takes control of them? Isn't that how it is? Is that going to change just because now they're taking the Founder Titan from, somebody like Eren? Is that going to be gone because of that? I'm really not sure about that, but do they even know about that? That's a great question. Just on a side note, Yelena is really just married to the idea of the Jaeger brothers being legends. And I have a feeling that not all of the Jaeger brothers are going to be legends. Only one of them is going to emerge as a legend, and it's not the way that she's going to expect. Now, on the way up with Eren and Peak, on the way up through the stairs, we confirmed that Falco did indeed drink the wine. I think this is in confirmation that he definitely has it in his system now. And she takes him up to the rooftop, and an ambush happens, and it kind of scared me right there, because for a second I thought the Jaw Titan actually got Eren, and I thought he was gonna transform inside his mouth or something and explode out. But no, he did not get him. Eren moved, just in time. So he did get his legs taken away, but he transformed right after. And I think a critical thing to look at is when he transforms from the nape down. So the first things that you start to see form are the things around the nape. So it's not the weird transformation that the Warhammer Titan did. Now, granted, I still think he will still be able to use the Warhammer Titan's powers, just because even though he was in his, normal Attack Titan form before, he was in his human form, and when he touched the royal blood, he was able to use the coordinate. If you guys remember that scene with him and Mikasa and them in the middle of the field. So I think he'll still be able to use his Warhammer Titans, unless it's like a special case where he has to be using that, transformed directly into the Warhammer Titan. And Gabby here asks Peak, aren't you betraying us? And she says, no, I'm just trusting in my comrades. She's still confusing me as to why she would, stay with the oppressors. And I think it's a mixture of just having her people there, and a mixture of just that familiarity. She doesn't know what to expect out of Eren, but she already knows what to expect out of the Marleyans and the Eldians that she has back in Marley.
Shit, boy.
Now, one thing here I just wanted to talk about is like the strategies of what Eren can do and what cannot do, kind of a prediction type of thing. Eren is really not in a good spot right now. He's not in a good position, and it's ironic, but they flipped the table on him in that Eren was the one who kind of took the strategic move of surprising the enemy and attacking them head on. and they were actually, I think, were able to respond to it pretty well. All the Titans came up to Eren within like a few moments, and they were able to respond pretty well. They had the machine guns there set and everything, and they were expecting an attack in the first place, so they were kind of preparing for it anyway. But in Iron's side, it really does not seem like they were expecting, an attack, and this also kind of makes me question the security that they have. Like, how could they not see all these blimps coming from all the way down the port, all the way down the island? Maybe they even have ships down there. I don't know. I mean, they knew there were some intruders like Peak. They, apparently they saw her tracks or something, but they did not see all those blimps. I'm not sure, honestly. Not sure about that. Definitely questioning their security there. Now, when it comes to Eren, I think he's going to be at a big disadvantage here, because he's going to have to deal with Reiner, he's going to have to deal with the Jaws, and maybe even the Cart Titan, if she can, take those cuffs off. And that is not going to be a good time for him. Also, he has the people up in the blimps, and he has nobody mobilized around him. None of the people around him has gears, they just have some guns. Man, I really don't think Eren is not in a good position right now. I think he can do it. He can definitely use the Warp Hammer Titan's power to his ability and maybe shoot off some of the blimps or something. We're gonna definitely probably see a Eren versus Reiner again, which I'm really excited for, and also Eren versus the Jaws. Maybe we'll get another Nutcracken, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, I'm also kind of really hoping for Zeke to come through so he can help us with taking out some of the blimps with his, rocks, and also just taking out some of the Titans. We've never actually seen that, the Beast Titan, like, fight in hand-to-hand combat. So this would definitely be interesting. We've seen Eren fight in hand-to-hand combat, and he actually did pretty good against Reiner the last 2 times. Using the, if you guys ever seen the moves and you actually know a little bit about martial arts, he was actually using some real BJJ or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu moves, which was really impressive and really cool when it comes in terms of action and fighting. Anyways, guys, I think this is all I have for the chapter. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Let me know what you think will happen. Do you think Eren will be able, and his comrades will be able to rebound in time? One more thing I would say is I think that he might have to let some of the people out in the jail cells to help him out, like the arming group, because having the Colossal Titan there, although there will be a lot of catastrophic damage all around, like they'd have to evacuate people, or he'd have to, he'd be really immobilized in terms of like how far he could go and move. The Colossal Titan can definitely help, but what even would be better if they have, the Beast Titan there, or obviously one of the best soldiers there, your boy Levi. I really don't think so though, but if we have something like Mikasa and some of the scouts, that would definitely help Eren in not losing. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next week.